Hey there YouTube, welcome back to Nathan Fry Outdoors. Several months ago I posted a video to this channel reviewing a hunting and scouting app called HuntStand. Now at that time I promised you, the viewers of Nathan Fry Outdoors, that I would review some other hunting and scouting apps as well. Now I started making other videos, I got busy, and those videos kind of got put on the back burner. But today I'm here with another review of one of the most popular hunting apps that we are inundated with advertisements now, and all the big hunting shows are talking about. And that is onX Maps. Now, if you've been following this channel for any length of time, you know that I do things on a budget. Now, onX is a paid app if you want all the features, but there is a free version. So today we're going to be talking about what do you get with the free version. I will mention some things that I wish it had, but that it would have if I paid for it, but maybe some free apps also have. So let's take a look down in this other camera and we'll check out the phone and we'll see what the app can do. Alright, so here we are in the onX app, and the first thing that I want to go over is this list of settings and features down across the bottom. Now the first one here is the map layers. Now this is something I think is kind of unique to onX. They've got a ton of layers. You can come in here by different states. Of course, I'm in Pennsylvania right now, so I can go down in here and see all these different layers. Now, as you notice, there is only one layer here that's turned on. The rest are grayed out. If I try to turn them on, I can't. And the reason is because I have not paid for the app. Now, the one that is here is PA hunting units. I really like this feature. It will show you exactly what management unit you're in. Here in Pennsylvania, we have to buy our doe tags based upon management units, and so this tells you exactly what management unit you're in, both to know where to purchase your tag, but also to make sure you're in the right unit when you're hunting. Now, but beyond that, almost all of these are grayed out. There are a few that are not, but you can also see how many there would be if you actually paid for the app. The next thing that you can do is come here to the off-grid tab. Now this is pretty neat. It will give you the ability to download maps. You can see I've already done it here and labeled it Home Turf, but it will give you the ability to download maps for offline use, whether it's because you don't have service in a particular area or whether it's just you want to save data when you're out in the field, whatever the case may be. This is really great. You can go ahead and click here and go offline, and you can see my map just loaded there. If I minimize this, I can scroll out and I can see that offline it actually gives me a pretty large area that it's downloaded, but this may not be full resolution, but it's just a low resolution map. And then as I scroll in, you can see this box right here that's going to be the higher resolution. Now that does not mean that it's as high as you would get if you were online, but you can see there's still some pretty good detail. You can still see the maps. You can still come over here and switch to topo maps if you would like. The next tab is My Content, and you can see different lines that you may have drawn, areas you've drawn. Right now I don't have any of those saved. You can also see locations or tracks, and this is where you would find them. You can sort by type, or you can also sort by date if you want to see recent ones that you've saved. So there you can see a possible bedding area that I labeled in 2017. We can go to a more recent date and see some tracks that I made just the other day as I was scouting some public land. Next we go into Map Tools, and this is where you might find a lot of things that you're going to accomplish within the app. First of all, there's line distance. So if I was wanting to measure a distance from this blind location, say, to this bedding area, I find out that it's 1,493 feet, 1,493 feet. Now I can save that line if I want to, or if I'm just simply measuring, I can X out of it. But the other thing I really like about this is you can do it as a single line, or you can add another to go ahead, tap again to add another leg, and it will measure each individual leg as well as giving you the total distance down here. So I can just make a path along a trail or anything like that, and it will give me the length of each leg as well as the total length down here. And at this point I've got 0.82 miles. If I want to save this path, I can rename it and hit save. In this case I don't need it there, so I'm just going to X out of that. Alright, so the next thing we're going to look at under the tools is this area shape. And what we can do is we can mark out several waypoints here, and it will give us the length of each side as well as the total acres. And down here, if you look, it gives us the total length as well as the total acres. Now I can label this. I just kind of made a random shape there, but if I had drawn out a hunting property or something, I could label it hunting and tap up here on save. Now if I tap on it again, I can actually hit edit, And I can come down here and change the color of the line. I can change the color of the area. I can make it more of a transparent color there. Change the color of the line and also the style and weight of the line. So that's a pretty handy feature that I do kind of like. You can mark out a hunting area or something like that. Now I don't particularly need this area here, so I'm going to delete it. Go back to map tools. The next one is add a waypoint. Now if I click this button right here, I haven't mentioned it yet, this will take me to where I am. Let's do that, and I can add a waypoint. Now the thing I really like about that feature is if you have your location centered in the map and you tap a waypoint, add a waypoint, then it appears as though it puts it at your exact location, which I really like. Now the one thing I don't particularly care for about HuntStand is their waypoint types. They have quite a few, but a lot of them, for instance, it starts out as antelope, ATV, bear, and of course they are alphabetically, I believe, but I just don't find that that's super useful for me as primarily a deer hunter. There's not quite as many deer specific waypoint types as there are in some other apps. Also, I don't particularly like that they're one line, so you have to scroll all the way through them to get to the other end. Now, I would prefer if you would be able to open this menu and see more of them at a time to scroll through them. Again, you can name it before you save it. And then lastly, you can mark your location. So wherever I'm at, I can just mark it right now, and I could just tap that and go on my way. I don't need to name it. I don't need to do anything. It just, there's my mark. So super quick and easy if you just want to mark a spot. Of course, later on, you could tap on it and you can edit that, and you could, again, change then to a different kind of waypoint if you wanted to. Now, one other thing I wanted to point out about these waypoints is, for instance, you see this waypoint over here I've marked as a blind. I could tap on this and I can hit go to. This gives me a line from where my location is to that waypoint and tells me how far away it is. In this case, 711 yards away from where I currently am sitting. Let's end that navigation and let's go back to where we were. We did mark my location. The last thing down here we want to see is the tracker. Now, this is a feature I haven't found in a lot of other hunting apps, but you can hit start, and as you walk around, it will track your time, your distance, your speed. This is great just for seeing where you walked the other day, knowing how far you walked if you're doing a lot of scouting or something like that. But it could also be useful for marking out deer trails. If you turn it on and off on each trail, you could be able to mark out where some deer trails are, see their intersecting patterns on a map, things like that. I recently watched a video from the hunting public about that. It was pretty interesting, so that's a good idea. Tap this again to let's close it out. Let's look at these buttons right over here. This button right now says topo because we're on the topo map. We hit it again, it goes to satellite, and we hit it again and it goes to one of my favorite features of the HuntStand app, and that is that you can see topo and satellite at the same time. Now, a lot of other apps you can see topo or satellite, but trying to switch back and forth to maybe see where a certain draw comes down into a field or something like that can be really tricky to see where those things match up. And so I really love, I know it's a little hard to see on here, but I really love that overlay where you can get that hybrid feature. Of course, up here at the top, there are things that I didn't mention before. You can get your elevation. You can get the level of zoom. So this is basically a scale. This distance is 500 feet. As we scale out, you see it becomes 2,000 feet, 5,000 feet. As we zoom in, that scale becomes 200 feet. And it also gives our location GPS coordinates. And I can tap on it, and it actually copies them to my clipboard. So I could copy them into another app or save them somewhere to maybe later on add to a GPS if I wanted. So that pretty much wraps up the features of the onX maps. Now, I want to point out some of my favorite features of onX. Number one is the ability to overlay the topo maps with the satellite images. I believe that's a great feature that I've not found in any other mapping system. Number two, I really love the ability to be able to turn on the tracks and use that as you track your walk throughout the day, tracking your scouting, maybe mapping out some deer trails. Think it is a great feature as well. Now, I really think there's some missing features to HuntStand. Number one is the ability to be able to check property boundaries. Again, keep in mind, these are some abilities that you would have if you paid for the premium version of onX. Unfortunately, again, on a budget, I don't really want to pay for that. And there are some free apps, such as HuntStand, that do give you the ability to check property boundaries and even property ownership. And so that's where I'm a little bit torn, because HuntStand gives you that ability, onX does not, but onX has some features that HuntStand does not. I also wish that I could find an app that would allow me to take a picture that would be associated with a waypoint. I believe that there is an app called Scoutlook that does allow you to do that, but I'm still not totally happy with the way that it's implemented. Other than that, I feel that onX is a very viable solution, even in its free form, for a hunting and scouting app. You would need to compare and see which features you might want to use. On the other hand, if you're willing to pay for onX, which I have not experimented with the paid version, but from what it appears like, I believe that onX would probably be the most full-featured hunting app if you're willing to pay for it. I hope you've enjoyed this review. If you have, I hope that you'll give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and stay tuned because I want to do at least one more scouting app review video as well as a comparison between the three apps and see which one I end up choosing for my very own. Until next time, remember to get off YouTube and get outdoors.